Hey, what's going on, my people? This is your homeboy, DJ Architect. I want to give a big shout out to DJ Don Q for making the connection with Brenda K Starr happen. I also want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties that you guys are here later on throughout the podcast. I hope you guys truly enjoy this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it.
Hey, what's up? It's Brenda K Starr, and you are listening to the chapter of The Architect.
Chapter 62.
You are now listening to the chapter of The Architect with DJ Architect.
All right, what's going on, my people in the place to be? This is your homeboy, DJ Architect. Once again, I want to welcome you guys to another chapter of The Architect. I got my guest co-host with me, riding shotgun once again, DJ Don Q. How you doing, my brother?
You're a horrible driver, by the way. I just want to let you know that.
Drink your drink and close your eyes, baby, because we're going to go for a ride. Ladies and gentlemen, what a special interview we have for you today on the chapter of The Architect. Platinum recording artist, Grammy-nominated #1 pop ballad on the Billboard charts with I Still Believe, pop, R&B, freestyle, and salsa vocalist, the legendary Brenda K. Starr. Brenda, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Welcome to the chapter of The Architect.
What a great introduction. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And once again, belated happy birthday. We know yesterday was your birthday. How was the celebration? How was your day?
It was good. I mean, it was eventful. I got a lot of beautiful happy birthday wishes from my fans, from family members. And then I've been on tours, so I kind of had the day off. So with that being said, I just went out to a restaurant on the water and had dinner. And then just ironically, I had a fan that lived in the area where I was having dinner. And it just so happened that I decided to hit him up on Instagram. And I'm like, how close are you to this restaurant? He's like, I'm like 15 minutes. Why? I'm like, I'm in your area. I'd like to meet with you and sign all your records and memorabilia.
Wow.
And he came and met me at the restaurant. And I signed everything, took pictures with him, celebrated some of my birthday with him, took him out, we had drinks together. And he was pretty shocked that I did that. It was really my day off. But I didn't make it my day off.
Wow,
so
Brenda,
it was eventful.
That was pretty cool of you.
Hell yeah, that's sweet.
Thank you.
Much respect.
It was great. Nice guy. Very, very nice guy.
Brenda, when you're in Middle Island, New York, and you want to go by the water, you hit me up. I'll be there with all my vinyl, my CDs, everything. Don't worry.
You hit me up, or when I'm in your area, all you got to do is do the same thing this fan did. Not saying that you're a fan, but it's kind of people think the whole persona of being an artist, you have to walk around with an ego and think that you're too good to kind of, sign autographs or stop and take pictures. And some people are like, artists are like, I'm tired, I'm this, I worked all day. But I wouldn't work all day if it wasn't for my fans. So for me to be able to make time, and if I'm in the area and I make a promise, hey, if I'm in your area, I promise you, I'll look you up and I'll sign that for you. And I actually met him in New York. He was doing some work with a group called, I don't know, what was it? Company B. And it was an award show. And he went and volunteered to help out. And when I came out is when he recognized me coming out of the club and said, man, I wish I had my stuff for you to sign. And that's kind of how we connected. I accepted his friendship on Instagram. And I told him I promised when I was in the area. And it just so happened it was yesterday. And it was my birthday. So
you're going to get flooded with Instagram posts now with people trying to harass you to get some autographs after this.
Oh, no, I'll do it. I don't have a problem with that.
That's cool.
I really, really don't. I love it. The best part of being an artist. You get to make people happy. I love to do that.
That's so cool. So I believe it was C-Bank that posted a photograph of you and her, and she was giving you a big happy birthday shout out. And she's going to be on the podcast here shortly. So we're excited to have her on as well. So that's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that because it's funny because I got so many happy birthday wishes. And even today, I'm still like checking it out and sending thank yous and appreciative messages, letting the fans know that I appreciate them. But sometimes I was like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming. So thank you for telling me that because I didn't even know that. Yeah. So I definitely have to hit C-Bank up and look at the message.
Absolutely.
But, it's a lot when you it's not like I have somebody sit there and answer on my fan page. I basically do it by myself.
That's a lot of
and
work.
I think it's more intimate when you can relate with the fans opposed to having somebody do it for you.
Yes.
So I kind of like doing it myself. So I just take my time. And when I get back to them, I get back to them. But thank you for letting me know that.
I agree. Brenda, tell us about your childhood growing up in a musical family with your father, Harvey Kaplan, a.k.a. Harvey K, of the 1960s band Spiral Staircase. How was it growing up with that musical experience, and who were your musical influences at that time?
Well, I did definitely remember those days, and like it was yesterday, because it's funny because my dad was in the music industry, but he traveled so much, and I didn't spend as much time with him as I wanted to. My parents separated when I was 2, so as he traveled and he would come to New York from Vegas, because he would be at Vegas, Catskill Mountains, he would visit, and we would know he'd come for like a weekend to gig, and we'd spend a weekend with him. Sometimes he'd come for a week, but it wasn't like an everyday father-daughter relationship. I mean, I grew more attached to him when I was in my teens, like 14, because I knew he did exactly what I love to do. Mm-hmm. And I think the person that got me more interested in music was my mom, because anytime my dad would perform, she would tell him, call so she can listen to you play and sing, etc.
Oh, wow.
So that's really where the connection started, listening to him play. And when he would come, his band would perform, and my mom would, take me to the shows. But we, really didn't grow up on a father-daughter relationship everyday basis. But my mom was the one who really pushed me with the music, playing music in the house. My mom was a dancer for Trudy Hellers in New York City, and my dad was the band that played there. That's how they formally met. But my mother always had music in her soul. So in the house, she would play Tina Turner. She would play Luther Vandross. She would play Teddy Pendergrass, and then Spanish music. So it was and it was so eclectic, the music selection in our home. We'd have R&B. She put on Donna Summers. Yeah. And then I think the first time I ever heard Donna Summers was in the house when my mom played it. And I was just like, oh my God, I love that lady's voice. And I just always wanted to be like her. And then listening to Vicki Sue Robinson, Turn the Beat Around. So those are the kind of musical influences I had. And my mom was the one who really pushed me, not pushed me, but influenced the music on me. Right. And then when my dad noticed that I started to sing, my mom would send him like cassettes. And for my 13th birthday, my mom was the one who really made it happen. She took me to a place called Dimensional Sound Studios. And for my 13th birthday, she paid for me to do a demo. Wow. And it was a reel to reel. And I went to the studio and I sang Love on a Two-Way Street by Stacey Lattisaw.
Oh my goodness, I love that song.
But it was the remake that she did. And then the guy that engineered the studio session looked at my mom and was like, how old is she? And my mom's like, she's 13 yesterday. And he's like, you should really help her get in the music industry. My mom goes, is she good? He goes, she's really good. Wow. And my mom was like, really? And he was like, yeah. My mom was like, okay. So she was telling me what he said. And then after I heard about that is when I decided this is what I really want to do. It's like, I just felt like at home right then and there.
That's beautiful that you said that your mom paid to go to a studio. I mean, kids would want toys or, go to, I don't know, Action Park or Great Adventure for their birthdays. But, she got this for you. I think those stories are so beautiful when parents can nurture a child's love for a certain thing, even if it's minute. Yeah, man, that is so beautiful, man. That is outstanding.
So what's even more crazy, what's more crazy is I come from a family of 7, and three out of the 7 are from my dad. And the crazy thing is, my mom was a single mom. So for us to be born and raised in the projects, Weiss Tower Project, it's a chance where we could try to make or break. My mom, there's 7 of us. Yes. Realistically, how can a young mother raise 7 kids without being on the system? Right. So, we had the system behind us. There were after school programs, and she would always be like, you know what, I'll get you in the after school program. I used to take, dancing, singing, and the government would pay for it, but she would work her way to get me through the doors just to do what I love.
Right.
And I know that the demo wasn't for free, and it couldn't be done through the government, so she saved every penny that she could to get my first demo
That
done.
is so beautiful,
And
man.
so that what I did for that is I said, one day if I ever make it, I said I'd buy my mom a house, and I did right after I Still Believe.
Wow.
Oh, that's freaking a great story, man. God, you know what's funny? I'm sure everybody who knows about Brenda K. Starr, yeah, she's a great singer. I Still Believe, all these songs. And then they say, oh, yeah, her dad, yeah, she got it from her dad because her dad, was the guy in Spiral Staircase, etc. But meanwhile, it was her mom that was doing the legwork, that was pushing
Yes.
her, that was helping her get her demo done, that saw the talent in her at a young age. So, I appreciate your mom. Her name is Candy, right?
No, my mom's name is Beverly. Candy's my stepmom. She married my dad after maybe about 15 years after my mom left him. So I was 2. So I think I was almost going to be, actually, I was 13 when they got married. 13 or 15, but she's not my real mom. My
So we want to shout
biological
out Beverly.
mother's name is
So,
Beverly Ann Dominguez.
Yes.
Big
That's-
shout out to Beverly,
that's
and
my mom.
thank you. You know what? Because of Beverly is because you're on the show now, and
That's
because we have so many memories of you. So we want to make a big shout out to Beverly for believing in you and for pushing you.
Beautiful gesture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. I mean, my dad, when he really first saw me perform after my mom sent him like cassettes of me singing, and then I started having records out, he was telling people, that's my daughter, it's my daughter. And, I stayed in touch with my dad. I was really more raised with my older brother. He was like a father figure for me too. And, he was very supportive of me to the point that he worked 2 and 3 jobs to help my mom, and he would buy my stage clothes. And I put him through college. He passed away of a hematoma. But I put him through college, my sister through college, and, whatever I could do for them. I wasn't that type of artist to want to just, keep the money and buy elaborate stuff. I just wanted to make sure my family was good. And, we grew up with tough love and not a lot of money. But when I started to make money, I wanted to make sure it was given to the right and for the right reasons, right people and for the right reasons. And my family came first.
Yeah, sorry for the loss of your brother. Obviously, your heart's in a good place.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's got a genuine soul, that a giving soul, which a lot of people don't have nowadays. And it's a ray of light to hear and to see that exists, in the music industry, especially, that there's a lot of money out there. And she just took her money and invested it in not herself, but her own family, because she realized that they helped her get to where she was, and she wanted to give back to her. I think that if I were to be a millionaire, I'll be the same probably.
Right.
You just want them to have the potential to do whatever their heart desires, so that if this can give them something to pursue and become a future, and they can have their own business, or they can, be their own boss, or they can make great money and provide for their kids and not have to struggle the way my mother had to struggle.
Right.
So when I got the opportunity, I made sure that my family was good. I mean, there's a story really quickly that people don't know about Brenda K. Starr. When I was born, my mother was very young. Her first baby she had when she was 16, and there's 7 of us. And my brother was babysitting me one day while my mother was out there working, trying to make ends meet, and he wasn't watching me good enough. And I got electrocuted on my mouth, and on the side of the left side of my mouth, I was, I bit an electrical cord, and I went into cardiac arrest and had to be brought back. So I believe that I was here for a purpose, and that's why my mother said that even after I had my surgery as a little girl, I used to hum around the house with half like my mouth sewed up. And then I had plastic surgery. And then after plastic surgery, as I got older, she used to know I loved to sing because she would put music. And that's when it all began.
That's dope.
That's
That's
incredible.
a dope story.
Incredible, man. And she's so resilient that she bit an electrical cord and she's still here till this day. Like, how many people can say that? And that's crazy. That's a God gift right there, man. It's just unbelievable.
I agree.
And we can't deny her that. We can't deny, I shouted out your mom, Brenda, but we got to give it props to your father, Harvey, because the dude gave you the blood, man. He passed his DNA to you, man. It's just like it was embedded in you. You didn't even realize it. Even with your surgery, with your mouth shut, because of your bloodline, you just wanted to come out and just sing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, yep, that's all I wanted to do. I think that's what I was born to do. I mean, I love to give back to, I used to, do community service, going to senior citizen homes and singing for the elderly, just to the residents that had dementia, Alzheimer, and I would sing to them to help them because the left side of the brain is where the music is and where it works with the music. And I would find people that were, and I'm not egotistically speaking, but I went to this place called Sunrise and sang to the residents and started going every other week, like once a week, or when I was out of town. When I was back in town from tour, and there were people that couldn't remember stuff, but when they would see me and I would sing with them, they remembered all the words.
Right.
And they would ask me, they would be happy that I was there. One patient passed away after I stopped going because I was touring so much. I had stopped for a while. And when I came back, they said, they didn't really think she was even going to live that long, but she stayed there another 8.5 months. And then after I left, she passed away. And I was her source of life, they said. It was pretty cool. Wow. But that's why I love music. You give back.
You kept her going. Your musical talent kept her going. And that's amazing that you were able to, I really think that comes from your Boricua side because, the Boricuas are really, I don't want to say this, I am Boricua, but I want to say that Boricuas are very giving, very loving. They will give you the nurturing. Like when you go into a Boricua house, ¿qué tú quieres comer? I already ate.
Give
but
me
they're going to feed you. They're going to force feed you. They're going to
keep feeding you. That's me. Yeah. That's me.
And that's like my mom and my grandparents. And like, you come in the house, I don't want to walk in this house because they're going to stuff me with food. I just want to walk around the house.
You can forget about being on a diet in my house because it's like you come in, 1 minute I'm making acapurrias or I'm making empanadas. The other day I had an urge for arroz con gandule. And my husband looked at me, he goes, Bren, you're going to go get that now? I'm like, dude, I have an urge for that. I was like, I don't got a concert for another 3 weeks. I made that arroz con gandula. I had it with steaks on the grill. I was loving every minute of it.
Delicious.
Yeah, but I love to cook. I love all that stuff.
Do you make your own sofrito, Brenda, in your house? Or you buy the,
I have to be honest with you. My mom makes it for me. And if she doesn't make it, I could make it, but I'm just time consuming. And if I'm not in the mood to do it, I won't do it. I'll buy it from Goya. And I like the way it tastes, but I always add my little stuff in there too. But I know how to make it, but I don't make it. My mom does.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Yeah, definitely.
I could say I am a good cook because here and there I do a little stuff online, and I say in the kitchen with Brenda K Starr or in the kitchen with Grandma Bev, and I throw a couple of things up on YouTube. It's fun, just for me to show my fans the fun side of me and in the kitchen and at home behind the scenes.
We got to check that out. That. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a couple of people that have that up, and as for music right now, I don't know if y'all know. I just could tell you if you want to ask me questions, you can, but I can tell you what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, we're gonna wait that towards the end of the podcast, but we got a bunch of questions. We want to fire them off. At a young age, you auditioned for the movie Beat Street, which I loved watching back in the day when I was growing up in New York. Even though you were young, you were also very, very driven. Tell us about that experience and meeting Harry Belafonte.
So originally, there was a group called Rocksteady Crew, and they had a girl, Daisy, there who was a break dancer. She was the only female. But then there was another crew called the Dynamic Breakers, and I had a girlfriend, her name was Susie, and she's like, hey, you should hang out with us. We'll teach you how to break dance. I knew how to pop a little bit, pop lock, that was easy, electric boogie, whatever they called it. Mm-hmm. And I knew how to do that. But, I wasn't one to spit on the floor and my head, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I said, yeah, I'll learn how to dance, but I don't want to do all that other stuff. But I found out that they were auditioning for the movie Beat Street. And I'm like, wow, maybe I could get in this movie and I could sing, with the intentions of going there to sing, not to dance. So they're like, oh, well, we're going to have rehearsals. The news is going to come interview us because it's like narrowed down to these two breakdance groups. So I went and I said, I'll write the song for you guys, like a theme song. And I only did it because I wanted to sing and be on TV. And if the news was going to be there, I didn't care about dancing. I wanted more to sing. Right. So I wrote a song. I sang it on the news. Somebody came looking for me when we were hanging out on a Friday night at a nightclub, a guy named Nelson saying, you guys know where that girl Brenda Starr is? And they're like, who are you? And he's like, no, I'm just a friend of somebody who saw her on TV. They want to talk to her. And the girl was like, yeah, she's over there. So he came up to me, introduced himself. He says, I would like for you to meet someone at a record label. And I was like, for what? He goes, I can get you a record deal. I'm a young girl. A man comes up to me. I'm not going to believe that.
Right.
So, so I took his number. After I took his number, I had my aunt call, and I had an audition for a record label. And in the same week, while I was auditioning for Beat Street, Harry Belafonte was being interviewed by the news. And I said to him when he walked in, is there a chance that I could speak to you? I would like to sing in your movie.
Wow, man.
I must have a freaking nut. And he looked at me and he looked at me. I said, I'm with the Dynamic Breakers. We're here for the audition. And he goes, yeah, when I'm done, let me hear you sing. So long story short, he does the interview. The audition's done and over with. Everybody's leaving. He still hasn't come out. So I decided to tell my friends, you guys go. I'm going to wait for Harry Belafonte. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're going to speak to him. So they left. And I stayed, and the crew was saying, if no one is here, whoever's not here to finish cleanup, you have to leave. So I may believe I was one of the cleaners, and I was helping out. So I just kept waiting. I said, no, I'm here helping out. So I noticed Harry Belafonte didn't come out, but then I noticed a gentleman walking out, heavyset white guy, big tall guy, David Pickett. And that was his name. I didn't know him at the time. And I just started singing from the top of my lungs, Love on a Two-Way Street.
Smart. Wow.
And all of a sudden he turned back and looked at me, and Harry Belafonte came out and go, who's that singing? And I was like, it's me, Mr. Belafonte. I'm the girl that wanted to sing for you. And he was like, you got a great voice. He's like, David, get her number. And he took my number, and I said, do you think you guys could call me so I could sing in the movie? And he goes, yeah, we'll be in touch with you, thinking he would never do it. And I didn't have a phone at the time. There was a payphone next to my building that I would always give that number out, and all my friends would pick up the phone, or if they're using the phone, it would be busy. People would call back and say, hey, is Brenda there? And they would pick up the phone that day. And it was the people from Beat Street, and they called me and said that they wanted me in the movie. And then I got an audition for Arthur Baker. He produced me. And then the guy that took me to the record label, he got me signed. His name was Nelson Cruz. He got me signed to Atlantic Records through Mirage, was a small label, and it was distributed by Atlantic. And I was on Atlantic because of Beat Street.
Hey, Brenda,
you see the persistence.
Listen,
persistence.
Go ahead, DJ Don Q. Go ahead. I got something to say after that.
I just that the hustle, man. It's just the hustle is in her blood. She didn't leave with her friends. She stood behind. She had a feeling. She didn't let anybody stop her. She started singing immediately, and she knew she had, if you have it and you have the drive, and that's what pushed her. Like, everybody listening to this podcast should take that for an example and say, listen, don't let anybody stop you. Just keep going. Be persistent.
Knock on every door.
Places,
Yeah.
That's an awesome story, man.
I was going to say the same thing, Brenda. It just showed, ladies and gentlemen, talent takes you so far. It's good to be lucky, but you also have to be, savvy. You knew that gentleman in that suit was somebody. And at that moment, you said to yourself, okay, man, I've got the talent. I'm here at the location. There's my opportunity. And you went ahead and you cast your fishing line, and then you got something.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Crazy. I was and then I was in shock. And then I told my friend, they called me. She's like, well, if we don't get the part, like, I couldn't be in the movie. And I was like, I'm going to be in the movie. And I was like, and you guys are going to be in the movie too. So I kind of stayed positive, and they got the part in the movie, and I got to be in the movie too. So I didn't have to dance with them. They danced on their own in the movie, and I did what I wanted to do in the movie, which I was hired to sing at the audition time. When I did the audition in Roxy's with Wanda D and a bunch of other people, System, etc. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and I got the chance. And I've been doing it this long. I mean,
so not only
it's not an easy job.
Not only did she take her friends with her to the movie, she put her friends on. I think I appreciate more of the hustle that she had 55 secretaries manning that payphone outside a building. That was the
Yes.
hustle right there.
Absolutely.
That was crazy. Yep, we didn't have a phone at the time. I totally remember that. It was the payphone in the plaza. It was called the plaza because everybody used to hang outside there and play double dutch, handball, Johnny Ride the Pony, kick the can, stuff like that. And I used to sit there with my box. Remember the box back in the day? I used to play the music, and I just used to sing. I used to sing Square Biz, Tina Marie. I used to just hang out, singing, hanging out, and that was my fun time.
Wow.
To be a fly in the wall back then, man.
Absolutely.
Wow, very crazy.
Now, Brenda, I hear nightmare stories of young artists. They get signed to a record label, and they get ripped off of having their intellectual property stolen due to lack of knowledge. Was that the case with you with Mirage Records? Tell us about the experiences of those shark-infested waters.
Well, I was really young, and like I said, didn't come from a wealthy family. So when getting the record deal, it was just an opportunity for me to find my way in the door. And I wasn't even anticipating how much money I'm going to make. I was just anticipating the fact that I'm doing what I love, and it would one day become something that I could possibly have success with, and not even knowing financially what success is, just doing what I love, and that be my job would be so much more. With that being said, I didn't get a lawyer when I signed my contract. So when I Still Believe came out, I never got royalties. I didn't get a lot of stuff, but I did get shows. And that's what saved me, because that was my financial, I guess you would say, security. And that was the money that I made shows. But now that I've learned so much with sound exchange and sound royalties, publishing, writers, I make it a fact to publish all my stuff, get everything copywritten. And what I'm getting at is, because I was so young and so hungry and wanted it, I didn't care what it would take. As you know, and maybe you may not know, my daughter was on American Idol.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
been offered a record deal.
Awesome.
She's been offered a record deal. Her single is supposed to be out last week. It's not out because I'm going back and forth with the attorneys, because I don't want my daughter to give up her publishing. And with that being said, I've held off on signing the contract. The people she's working with are great. They're businessmen. Everybody wants to make more than the artist. But in my light of knowing the business, I've decided to tell my daughter, that's your security. So we're going to hold off on signing until we can come to an agreement. But your publishing, you should always keep. That's why I tell people, when you're doing a record deal, get an attorney, spend a little bit of money, and ask a lot of questions. And remember, the most important thing to remember is to either get affiliated with CSAC, ASCAP, or BMI, so that you can become a writer and be registered as a writer and be registered as a publisher, so that you're protected, because everybody will take all your money. You make so much more money when you own your publishing and writers. You make so much more money when you're in control of your career and you hire an agent to get you booked. Don't let somebody take 50% of everything you have in your business. So that's what they're doing. A lot of labels and companies are doing nowadays, but sometimes you have to fight for it. But back in the day, I got zero. So some people think 50% is okay nowadays. But in my respect, I'm kind of waiting on having her take her deal to another level.
And you got to respect that, because based off your experience, you're going to take care and protect your daughter's career. So absolutely. I'm totally with that. DJ Don Q, whenever you want to jump in, if you have questions for, Brenda, go ahead and jump in, brother.
Yeah, and I could talk to Brenda for 50,000 hours. This is crazy. R. Kelly 12 play, R. Kelly was, I know, he's very controversial, but he signed away his publishing. And that's why he's, one of those guys that are broke,
right.
That leads in. And so Brenda brings up a good point. With Gianna Isabella, with her record deal, at least she has her mom. Brenda didn't have that guidance at the time.
No. And I learned as I went along.
Exactly. And thank God you're around for her, because you could guide her and watch her. And I love the hustle. I love that you're protecting her. in that matter. That's really great. And talked about. I know with Architect we jump a little forward, but your daughter was on American Idol. That was incredible. I think she was in the top 10 of the last season. And
she was number 10.
Number 10, and I saw, I'm not gonna front, I'm a manly man, but I cried like a baby when I saw her singing your song. Man, we were in my living room just crying, like, we're watching your face and we're seeing her, and I'm like, this is a Brenda K. Starr's voice coming out, right? I hear her voice. I hear
in me when I was a little girl.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy how it happened. And she nailed it, man. She nailed it. I mean, there's millions of views on YouTube if everyone wants to go look up Gianna Isabella on American Idol 2017. It was incredible performance on her behalf. And, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with you because I think of my ex-girlfriends kind of when I listen to your stuff. But I do appreciate your voice like crazy.
Thank you. I watch her and I tell you, sometimes I'm like, I was never, ever that good at that age. I mean, people say, no, you were great. Even you were young, you're still great, whatever. But when I look at her and to see she started singing at 4, really coming out and saying she liked it. Wow. And then doing demos and taking her back and forth to the studio and me pushing her, telling her, write. She's like, I don't know how to write. I'm like, just put your feelings on paper and make it into a song. Like for me with school, I hated school. So when I didn't understand certain things, I would turn what I need to study into a song. When I wanted to learn my multiplication, I used to turn it into a song. And I told her, everything you can turn into music can stick to your brain quicker than anything else. Wow. Because when you can learn a song in a matter of an hour and a half? Yeah, even some kids learn a hook in seconds. But I'm saying you're going to sit there studying for hours, 4 or 5 hours. But meanwhile, you play the song 3 or 4 times and bang, within an hour, you learn the whole song. Yeah. So convert it into however you can to study. But anyway, yeah, she's amazing. She was young. I think she was only 15 on Idol. She was on X Factor at 13. She was top 40 girls. And she just was nominated number 2 on the opening act for iHeartRadio and VH1. They're doing a big concert out in California, but she came in second place. So it was to open for like Charlie Puth, Ariana Grande, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, all big acts, Camila Cabello. She didn't get it, but you know what? I told her, I says, everybody, God has our destiny written. It'll happen for you. Continue to drive and, just stay positive and you believe in you. And the only one that's the force to be reckoned with is yourself. So just do you and watch. It'll become, reality. You know how they say law of attraction? You put it there and you can make it yours. You just have to believe it's yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Brenda, you scored a number 1 hit with one of my favorite songs, I Still Believe. Tell the listeners about how that song came to be.
So I was on Mirage Records, which was the Atlantic label that was distributing it. And I got several songs. I think when I received that song, it had like a country type of vibe, but I loved the lyrics. And then it was written by, I think, Antonina Armada. And Yamir Diodado was the producer. He's a Brazilian producer who produces Kool and the Gang. So I got the record deal. The record president introduced me to my manager, which was Buddy Allen at the time, and he managed the Spinners and Stacey Lattisaw. Then Stacey Lattisaw ended up leaving the company, but I stayed. And then my manager, Buddy Allen, had received a couple of demos for the new album. And when I heard that song, I'm like, it sounds kind of country, but I love the words. So I got together with Diodado. They set up a rehearsal. Him and I went into the studio. He started playing it on a piano, and he made up some ideas. I cut a rough vocal, and then I came back after he did all the music, and I cut I Still Believe, I think, honestly, and within 2 hours, it was done.
Wow.
And I wanted to come back and I wanted to go back and fix some stuff. And I remember Diodado was like, no, it's good. It's good. And I was like, this guy's like rushing me out of the studio. But then I said to myself, I'll just hear it. If I don't like it, can I fix a couple of things? He goes, yeah. So when I came back, I heard it through the speakers and I was like, oh my God, I love it. And they did the backgrounds and they had me come back and finish the backgrounds. And I didn't even think it was going to do what it was going to do, but He did, and
that's a legendary song for everybody and probably in the entire world. Just when you hear that, when you hear the first few notes of the keys in the song, I still get chills listening to that song, man. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, I think that song's kept me alive. I mean, I have a lot of Spanish music out now, as you know. I still do Spanish, and I have some English stuff out, obviously, after I Still Believe. But I Still Believe is always, it doesn't matter if I'm doing an English concert or a Spanish concert, I always throw that song in there, and everybody goes nuts when they hear it. It's just so crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you know, the Herida song that you sing, you know, that unfortunately reminds me of my ex. But man, that song, when you sing those notes, you know, and it starts off with almost like a magical, like a, you know, kind of sound. And then you just come in with yo no sé qué hacer. You know, you come in with that flow. You got that flow. That what did you have? Candles? Yeah, candles in the
No, yo. I gotta tell you, my mom speaks Spanish, but she didn't speak it around the house a lot. Here and there, you know, only when she wanted to like curse at us or say something sarcastic, or when she was on the phone with her friends, etc. But I learned Spanish because by hook or crook, I needed to make sure I got another record deal because it just wasn't happening for me, and the English things just changed up for me. And I was offered a deal without knowing Spanish just because I sang a little piece of I Still Believe in Spanish to one of the record executives, and they offered me a deal to do Latin music. And I'm like, wait a minute, if this is going to pay the bills, I'm going to study my butt off. So my mother was like, take the contract and I'll help you. When I went to do Herida, I knew what the song meant, knew what it was about, knew what I had to feel when I went in there. But so I would pronounce it correctly. I would write the words down phonetically in phonetic spelling. So I would know where the accents would be, etc. But I didn't know any Spanish, so I wasn't even sure how good that song was going to do. But I mean, it did amazing for me
song.
too.
That's a great album.
You gotta hear the new one, which is a song called Quédate, and I'm not just saying this because I cherish I Still Believe and Herida are my two favorite songs that I've done in my career so far, thus far. But Quédate is a new song that I'm doing, and I have to tell you, this song I definitely think will give Herida a run for its money.
You got to send us that, Brenda, please. Come on, don't hold out.
Yeah. And then I wrote a song with, back in the day, it was produced by George Cali, and it's a song called Hold Me. I think my husband sent it to you.
Yes, he just sent it to you, yes.
We had a Latin flavor mix done, and then now we just kind of changed it up a little bit. And this is something I did a little bit back, and, you know, a couple of years back. And, we're thinking about kind of releasing it just, you know, not for sale, but just for DJs to play it, you know, to keep the English vibe out there. And working on, I started my new label, and Star Records. And I got a new song called Redención, which I wrote and co-produced, which is called Redemption. And the video is right now on YouTube. So the next single is going to be Quédate for Spanish. And for English, I'm still not sure which one it's going to be yet. I'm still writing a majority of the album.
Wow. So is Quédate like a salsa, or is it a dance?
Yes. It's salsa. Puro salsa. Puro salsa. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Needs help, Brenda. I'm not gonna front. You know, Mark Anthony is a beast, and he's a legend, and he's everything. But you know what? We need something, because you go to PR right now, it's reggaeton.
Well, I'm gonna.
Bachata.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna send you something, since you just said Mark Anthony. I did a song, and have you ever heard of the new song that Mark does? It's called Tu Vida La Mía.
I love that song, of course.
Okay, I did the female version of it. I just finished it.
Wow.
I think they mastered it today. So what I will do is I will have Chris send it to you directly, so you guys could be the first to exclusive it on your show, because it's not even out.
This is another DJ Architect exclusive.
It's not for sale. I'm probably gonna do like a music video and say I do not own the rights. I literally had to message Sergio George to ask him, would he mind if I cut a female version of it, because, you know, I do have the track, but I know I don't have his, I can't do it without his permission. And he said, with all due respect, he says, Absolutely. So he gave me the go ahead, and I had Chino produce it for me, and it's just been finished. And Natalie's Ruby wrote the lyrics in Spanish and translated as a female saying it to a male. So it's my answer to him.
Wow.
That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be an amazing track,
Brenda.
man, because it's a hit.
It's kind of just like a crowd pleaser, just so that people could hear until Get Out That comes out. So I didn't want to lose my, my drive, like my momentum, as I say, because I'm still touring, I'm doing shows, I'm doing radio interviews, I'm doing a lot of stuff. And when the whole album is complete, I want to be able to get that nice bang out there. So what I did is I took this song and I figured it'd be a nice tribute, but still it'll be me answering him.
Talking about how you didn't know how to speak Spanish, and then all of a sudden you're getting ready to sing these Spanish songs. That's a huge task to put on yourself. Now, is there a specific genre of music, Spanish, freestyle, pop, that you feel more comfortable with in expressing yourself musically?
Oh, I mean, honestly, no. I love them all. I mean, I think all of them just... I don't know. I mean, I can't say just dance. I can't just say a ballad. I can't just say salsa, because when I'm on stage and I sing all of these songs and I do like a fusion of my music, it's just crazy because I have the energy and the passion for each and every one of them the same way. I just think the only thing that's more exciting for me is when I have the salsa band behind me. But right now we have the band members learning some of the music in English so that we can mix the whole thing together. But I don't have a preference. I love it all.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the freestyle era. I know that you were heavily involved in that dance scene, especially with picking up the pieces.
Yes.
Tell me about picking up the pieces, and I also want to hear your version of your feeling of freestyle now, today, and how it was yesterday. And I know you have an act coming out with freestyle too, so tell us a little bit about picking up the pieces and freestyle, if you don't mind.
So Picking Up the Pieces, that song was produced by Arthur Baker. So that was one of the big club bangers for me. I mean, I got to do tons of clubs all over the world, overseas, out of the U.S., London, Germany, and it took off. And then I just started, heavily, getting into dance music with John Roby. He did Over and Over. But I mean, my description of freestyle, today, I think, there are talented artists new coming into the scene that aren't recognized. But I mean, I just feel like there's so much bad energy sometimes that I think people should really see, like, beyond that. Like, people talk about, this group not being that group, this artist not being that artist. But some artists, when you are an artist and you're signed under a contract and someone creates a name, you own that name. And some artists don't want to do it anymore. Some artists continue to do it. And it's just so sad when they bash each other because, there's room for all of us. And, I think it makes it more difficult for the newer artists to get in. And it's just kind of odd because I see that they only play our old school freestyle, which I love it. They're my people. Listen, I love Cynthia, Johnny O, Lizette Melendez, Stevie B, Coro, TKA, I love them. But I think we should always make room for other artists as well, because we're finally trying to take this music so people can enjoy it and bring back memories and give their children a listen to what it is they grew up loving. And maybe their kids love that kind of music and want to sing. But, if I feel like they're not opening doors for newer artists, if that makes any sense. And there's too much controversy with the older artists in the business, if that makes any sense.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree with you because, it's sort of like a door that's been shut and people are just trying to kick it in to try to, reopen the door that's been shut. And like you said, they're climbing an uphill battle. You got everything against you pretty much. It's a music that was so popular and so loved by so many.
So popular.
And then, to see it die, that's why we want to keep the music alive. And like people like you that are legends that still keep the music alive and still believe in dance music and still believe in salsa, and that is precious to us because we're kind of a dying breed right now. So but then I think that they should do shows, with all due respect, that
if there's new artists that want to come into the business, why can't they have all the big shows and invite a newer artist to come in and kind of like premiere her? Hey, check out the new artist in the freestyle genre, and give her a shot to have the newer fans and the older fans embrace her and love him or her music, instead of being like, no, it's only limited to this artist, that artist, this artist, that artist. You're not the real one. You're the fake one. Like, dude, why can't we be adults about this and just enjoy the fact that we're given a gift and people love music and people want to share the music?
I was about to say that a lot of promoters, they tend to put a lot of the older original acts on because it's pretty much guaranteed money, right? So myself and DJ Don Q back in September, we promoted a freestyle event, and we gave an opening artist a shot to open up for two legends. And I think that was fair for brand new artists, to be openers. You're not going to be in the headline spot, but here's your opportunity to shine.
For me, I realize I'm only doing this for as long as God wants me to do it, or as long as I can do it. But for me, people say, oh, why did you help Mariah? Why did you do this? Why did you help this girl? Why are you bringing this girl out there? Why? Because she has a dream just like I had a dream. And if I could help, I'll help. And if I think she should open, I think she should open. I think that every freestyle artist, obviously we all dance music artists, pop artists, Latin artists, we should all set a standard and a platform for us to pretty much show our talent, enjoy what the gift is that we have, share it with the world, and not turn around and make it a negative when it could be a positive. And you'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we got a new artist coming out. Embrace her with with all your love.
Yes.
And then like that, our fans from our age and our genre and our age bracket could enjoy it and see the new talent and be like, wow, she's super talented. And it'll give internet radio stations, it'll give eventually, we got to have another dance freestyle radio station. We don't have that now. So we're depending on internet stations, Sirius XM, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? So you have to make sure that you give everybody a chance. But it's tacky as hell, and I'll say it and I mean it. It's tacky as hell to turn around and argue with each other online in front of each other. When you're an artist, I'm sorry. Private DM me. Don't talk your business. Don't act like a child. Don't diss nobody. When you're a DJ, you don't do that. When you're a promoter, you don't do that. We're supposed to be superstars to these people. And these people are getting online acting like kids. That's like bullying. You're literally bullying somebody. What kind of example are you setting? So for me, I love freestyle dance music, pop music, but I will never, and you will never see my name in any of those conversations, because you know what? I have my opinion and I keep my opinion to myself. It's nobody's business what I think.
I agree.
That's because
it's nobody's business.
Your class, you know what? Going back to Mariah, part of your big heart that you have, you didn't have to give that tape to Tommy Mottola. You didn't have to do it. You did it. You put her before yourself. And I see that in you, that you did it for your parents. You bought them the house. You look out for your brother. You did all this stuff because that's in your heart and your soul.
That's who I am.
Passed it to him. It was nothing to you. It was like, I'm going to help my friend. I'm going to help her out.
No, it wasn't. Exactly.
I'm going to use my stage, and I'm going to put her on my stage with me. And that shows, a lot of people in this list that listen to us need to understand that because of Brenda K. Starr, Mariah Carey is a huge voice, beautiful person, beautiful voice, but the big chance was given to her by Brenda K. Starr because of her connections and her willingness to give the tape to Tommy Mottola.
Hey, look, the truth is, Brenda K. Starr showed Mariah Carey love. Big, big, big love. Brenda, do you think she reciprocated, showed that love back to you?
I mean, I don't know. Is our relationship the way it used to be before this all took place? Absolutely not. Did I get it reciprocated the way that I thought I would? I mean, I didn't do it because I wanted something in return, but I did do it because I felt like that's what I should have done.
Right.
But and the person that I am always selfless, so I never think of myself. But I know if I'm the most richest woman right now, whatever, have the most success in the world, the first person that I would be there to say, "You good? would be myself.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I didn't get that. And it's okay that I didn't get that, because I didn't do what I did in thoughts of getting that to happen to me. I think my friendship with her was more important than the financial end of it. So I think after our friendship fizzled, after getting the deal, I think it was more of a shocker to me that I didn't even think about the financial end. But our relationship, for the question, is not the same of how it used to be. Do I love her? Will I always love her? I'll always love her. She was my homegirl. That was my girl. She stayed at my house. I hung out with her. You know, she's Kayla's godmother. My daughter treated her, and I treated her like, you're my daughter's godmother. We're the best of friends. We stayed with each other all the time. I gave her a place to sleep. I got her first deal. I always tried to make sure when we were on the road, when I knew she had to pay rent and she needed extra money, I'd be like, here, don't worry, I'll pay you a little extra. Because I loved her. That was my homegirl. But I think after the deal, she was so young. She was so, you know, mentally, you know, drained, and people were talking in her ear that, you know, maybe she didn't cherish the friendship we had, or maybe they said I was a threat to her, or I was a threat because we were so similar. But to be honest with you, I didn't bring her in the business to turn around and be jealous of what I created. I just wanted to lend a helping hand because I wanted to help somebody that I believed in and thought had talent. And that's what I did. And if anything, I could say I'll always be a mark in history because I was the one who found that talent, who brought that talent to this world. And 100%. She became a mega superstar because of me, because nobody would have picked her up. And I think that that was just me doing God's work. I was meant to be there to do that for her. And no, we don't talk.
But what I'm saying is, if you were to do me a huge solid, it just goes to show you Brenda K. Starr's heart. If you were to do me a huge favor, right, and that favor opens up doors for me, you know what I mean? I feel that I owe you a sense of gratitude, and whether it's financially or some way in support, man, I'm going to try to attempt to take care of you. Now, I'm not bashing Mariah Carey. That's not what I'm saying. This is not, you know, all I'm saying is I would try to take care of the person that took care of me. And
big time.
You know.
Yeah, one hand washes the other, man. Like you said, you know, Architect, I'm gonna tell you that, you know, with this situation that went on, we can't say anything bad about Brenda because Brenda's fine. Brenda has a record deal. I mean, she has her record label, her kids. Her daughter was on American Idol.
No,
she has
man.
A beautiful husband,
she's good.
Family, you know.
I'm still touring. No, I'm good. Financially, I'm good.
Yeah.
My kids are good. You know, I'm comfortable where I am right now. And, you know, for me, I don't have to be a millionaire to be happy. It's more my health is good. My children are good. My bills are paid. I'm working steadily and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm able to enjoy it now, and I will enjoy it to the fullest. But with that being said, I would never have taken anything back. I did what I did because that's what I was supposed to do when I was supposed to do it. And like I said, I was there at the right time, at the right place, and it worked out on her behalf, which was good because I did it for her. It wasn't for me. Exactly. It wasn't for me.
There you go.
So, you know, but I did go to one of her concerts. I actually went to her last concert in Atlantic City, and I had two friends. I had my publicist and the head of my fan club. They were going, and they had tickets, and they were like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "No, I'm just hanging out at home, relaxing." And they were like, "Come with us to AC." And I'm like, "For what?" They were like, "Mariah's in concert." I'm like, "No, I'm not going." And then they're like, come on. And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go." I said, because at one point I had Mariah's fans bashing me that she bought me a house, she bought me a car, she paid my bills, she gave me money, and nobody knows the truth. Right. I paid my own house, I bought my own tour bus, I pay my own bills, and no, nothing was given to me. And they were bashing me, saying I was a nobody, that I'm poor. But I don't really care what they think, because to be honest with you, misery loves company. Yes. So you can sit by yourself and talk bad about whoever you want. If you don't know the truth, keep your mouth shut. Right. I know the truth, and I know what I got, and I know what I did. So after thinking about going to the concert, I was afraid that her fans or her lambs were going to be rude and disrespect me and put me in a moment where I'd be in my feelings. So I didn't want to go, but something inside told me to go. And I have to tell you that I did go. And when I went, it was an emotional, but a heartfelt experience for me. I stood in the audience and I watched her sing. and perform. And I looked at her as my friend that we were, and when we grew up, and when she was doing my background, and I began to cry. Not cry like, like I couldn't breathe. Just the tears came down my face. And my fan club guy looked at me and said, "Are you all right?" I just said, "I'm so proud that she was able to do this, and she deserves it." And I said, no matter how much we've had our differences, I love her. Like, I'm happy for her that she was able to push through and prevail, whether it be because of Tommy, whether it be because of this, or because you paid your dues or do what you did to do to get to where you got. It is what it is. It's your business. But I was proud just watching her sing, and how just doing what she loved, that I was able to make that mark. I made her that mark in history.
Cool.
And it made me proud for her and proud for me. And I was crying not because of jealousy, but crying tears of joy because I was proud for her.
That's so cool.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I never carry any animosity. And last but not least, Mariah Carey's boyfriend Tanaka ran into one of my friends while I was in the concert. In the interim of it, she said, "Take a picture with me." And she goes, "Do you know that Mariah's friend Brenda K Starr is here?" And he's like, "No way, where is she?" So he was looking for me to bring me backstage to say hello to her.
Wow.
And someone did say that she said there's someone special in the house. So I didn't know if she meant it to me, because after I had that moment, I just wanted to step outside and be by myself.
Right.
And that's when she announced that. And they were calling me to go on stage or to go backstage. And I didn't go because I just felt like if we were going to reconcile, I didn't want it to be at her concert. Right. I wanted to be alone where she can DM me, or she can have someone call me to call her or set something up. But I don't want to do anything where everybody's at in public, because then it would look like, not that I'm sweating her, but just that the fact that I was going to the concert just to make up with her. No. If she wants to be reconciled, for me, no matter what, I never hold any animosity. Ever. Life is too short. I'll always be here, but I watched the concert, enjoy, and just, it was a mixture of both, not jealousy, but just joy and sadness, because where we were to where we are today is not the same place. But I could hold the good memories.
Totally understand.
I could hold the good memories.
Absolutely. Now, Brenda, we're not going to keep you on too much longer, but listen, myself and DJ Don Q, we're huge fans of freestyle music. Do you ever see yourself working on any new freestyle music in the near future?
Well, right now I'm working on 3 new dance records. I'm doing one with Gomi. I did a song with Mike Cruz, and I also have been reaching out to a couple of different dance producers. So, I mean, I do have a couple of dance songs coming out, but I'm not sure, I don't know when it's going to come out exactly, but they did send You Homie, which is the song right now. We're just kind of putting to make a little bit of noise. But like I said, it was originally done with a Latin pop feel. Now they kind of made a house mix of it. Right. So I kind of want to go in the direction of Stranger in My House, Love Takes Over. Mm-hmm. I want something dance, but I still want to have that freestyle song. Yeah, I want that really good house dance. I want big, like There Must Be Love. Like, I'm going to do dance freestyle records, but I have to be honest with you. When I do music, I don't say, I'm going to do a freestyle song. I just do a dance record so I could, let people enjoy it. But hey, one person I would love to do a dance record with is Carlos Barrios. I've never had the pleasure to work with him, but I do love his work.
Hey, I got his number.
Love his work.
Maybe I could make a connect happen. Let's see. Let me get a hold of Carlos. That'd be something dope. Absolutely. Now, listen,
he's talented.
Absolutely, he is. Now, listen, you have known to help young talent hone and flourish their art. What advice would you give to a young artist right now who is possibly listening to the interview?
Well, definitely not to give up, and that if they really love what they do, to make their craft more of a job, of a study. Don't just use it just because I love to sing for fun. Learn how to write. Learn how to see if you can enroll yourself in certain classes about learning how to engineer. If you have your iPhones and you love to do music, why don't you download like GarageBand and learn how to pick some beats and try to write your own songs? And don't sign anything without getting somebody who's really knowledgeable about reading contracts, and basically to, stay humble and never change for anybody, and don't let it get to your head, because the quickest way you can climb up that ladder is the quickest way you can get down. And no one likes someone who's cocky. So always have a humble disposition and be positive. And lastly, leave your thoughts and your passion in prayer. And God makes everything possible. You know, you don't have to be religious. I'm not super religious, but, you know, I am Christian, and I believe that some way, somehow, if it doesn't happen one way, it'll come out the other way. Just always be positive.
Amen.
I tell that to all my kids. I don't know if you guys know also, before we conclude this interview, I have been mentoring kids for 18 years already. Wow. I teach kids music. I work with them on preparing their demos. I have an album coming out with a young lady by the name of Haley Gray. It's a pop artist, alternative pop artist. She's great. She's only 18 years old. I have Ike coming out on Star Records, which is the song Survive. And, you know, just to keep writing and never give up, and just to really, really, really remember where you come from and stay humble, because nobody likes anybody with a bad attitude.
That's right.
Brenda, that's beautifully said. You know, I wanted to, commend you for teaching kids and for relaying your talent and your experience to these kids so that they can learn these things. And, you know, I'm going to go back real quick. I know you're coming to the tail end, but, you know, as your daughter, Gianna, was singing it, as you see her singing, my daughter sings also. My daughter, like you said, has a much better voice than I have, and she had it at a very young age. But unfortunately, I didn't want her to have this fever, because I know what comes with it. I know that she may not make money. I know she may make $50 doing the cover song. You know, I know all these hard things that she's going to get turned down, and she's going to get beat down and neglected. And, you know, I just don't want that for her. I don't want that for her.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to be honest with you before we finish the interview. My daughter wants it too. Okay. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, you know, I don't know. But then I noticed I could hear it in her voice. And if you could hear it in her voice, there are so many entities of the music industry. Right nowadays, you can have her do a record and have it distributed online by different companies just by the likes of how she sounds and what the lyrics and what her music sounds like. You can put it out on your own independently. With that being said, there's so many company and corporations that pay musicians great money to play with cover bands, to play with wedding bands, to play with tribute bands. They have 401ks. They have paid vacations. There's several companies that do it. So if she can have something to fall back on, like my daughter, I'll give you an example. Gianna is now working in the bank industry, and she's doing that on the side. And she'll work 3 days or 4 days, and then she'll gig on the weekends. And when her records will eventually take off, she can leave that job, but at least she knows she's doing something she loves. So as long as your daughter has something to fall back on, like I have music therapy to fall back on, you know? So I will sing until the day I can't, but I always can heal someone with music therapy by visiting senior centers. So your daughter, like I'm getting back to that, she can do the music. Let her do it. Let her do it. There's cover bands. Let me tell you something. She puts a band together. She can make her own money, get paid to do a gig. But say my daughter, example, can do a wedding, charge $30,000 with a band. People make that in a year. If she's talented, she's 18 years old, she can put a band together. She could solicit herself all over the internet and get booked everywhere. So don't close the door on that so soon. And you can make your own records online nowadays, buddy. You know, so there's so many opportunities. If she loves it, let her do it.
She has that feeling that we all have about music, that it's the bug that keeps biting you. It just keeps biting you, and it consumes your every minute. You know,
that's a beautiful feeling,
and I'm
though,
like,
man.
oh God,
that's a beautiful feeling.
But that's a great thing if she's loving it. And one last thing, I think I should tell all your listeners, there is a program for Berklee School of Music called it's a Berklee School of Music summer program, and it's for privileged and underprivileged individuals. You start at the age of 15. It's a 5-week program. It's a $10,000 cost program. I've sent kids that I've mentored, had them audition, and they've gotten free rides for the whole 5 weeks, learned production, songwriting, performance skills, and they stay in the dorms for 5 weeks, and they get to learn everything about school, and they are offered a scholarship to go to the college if they do well. My daughter was offered $30,000, turned it down because she's going to do an album, and that's what she wants for right now. So currently she's doing school online. But I just wanted to put that out there. If your daughter really loves it, or if anybody's listening and has a daughter or a son, and you really want them to know what it is to experience music, that summer program is an amazing program. And if you don't make a lot of money, they do offer financial aid, and they even go as far as getting people to fund it for individuals that can't afford it, and they send them for free.
That's awesome to hear. You know, Berkeley is a very, very great, one of the best schools, probably the best school for vocalists. And shout out to Simone Torres, who my boy's daughter, who went into production. That's another thing. Not only can you do vocal, but you can do into production. She's doing very well in production right now. So shout out to Simone Torres, Berkeley alumni.
Yeah, they have production. They have musicians. They teach all musical. They have jazz music, pop music, R&B music, etc. Teaching you instruments, voice, songwriting, production. They have everything. They should definitely check it out. But yeah, if your daughter really loves it, just stand behind her dream and just tell her to have a plan B. We always got to have a plan B.
Definitely will.
Well, Brenda,
thank you guys.
Where before we let you go, where can people find your music, your social media, your upcoming shows? Where can you send the people to find you?
So I would love if everybody could start following me even more on Instagram, because I hadn't had an Instagram page for a while because there were so many people taking my name and creating pages. So if everybody could start following me on the official BrendaKStar.com, that's for official Brenda K Starr, and that's on Instagram. If you want to follow me on my website, it's BrendaKStar.com, and that's it. That's pretty much what I have. And then the website is www.BrendaKStar.com. And then Facebook is just Brenda K Starr.
Mention one more time your record label and your artist too, also, Brenda, for the people.
So the label that I started is called Starr Records, STARR Records, and I own Starr Entertainment now. And my artist is Haley Gray, and you could also check her out online. Haley Gray's record should be dropping the second single soon. Ghost is her first single. I also have Aki, who is a dance freestyle artist, and she will be dropping her single at the end of October, which is called Survive, which is written by me. So I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Well, Brenda, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being so down to earth and so inspiring to all the young artists out there. Appreciate your time. This has been Brenda K Starr. Big shout out to my co-host DJ Don Q. Thank you for your help, my brother.
Brenda K Starr,
thank you, Don Q.
Thank you for having us and taking your time to spend. And shout out to Chris who put this all together. Thank you, Chris. And I'm not mad at you for making it either. I'm not going to front, I'm not mad at you.
But you'll love Quédate.
Please send it to us. Don't forget.
Oh my God, you're going to love it.
Right,
but I'm going to have him send you the new English dance song so you guys can play it and have fun with it. And we'll also send you Tu Vida en la Mía, which is the answer to the version that Mark Anthony did.
All right, perfect.
And listen, Brenda, take my friendship, DJ Don QNY, and Chapter of the Architect. Tell her your Instagram.
Can you do me a solid? Because it was my birthday yesterday. I had a little pre-dementia. Can you text it to Chris's phone?
We will. Definitely we will.
I'm only kidding.
And
then I promise to get you guys that ASAP.
Perfect.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. We love you. Thank you for listening. This has been Chapter 62, the Chapter of the Architect. Out. Peace.
DJ Architect.